worries.
Sweet. Hi, Earl. Nice to meet you finally.
Good to meet you, Dave.
So I've got a bone to pick with you.
What's up?
When we connected, I saw that you were the reason why I reached out is I'm trying to get people who are different, who like just take on challenges. And I don't know if you heard, there's a podcast I just did with a guy named Sidney Smith. And he's a double amputee, runs triathlon, Ironman's, all it, a bow hunts, all. But I saw you were shooting a bow, and it seems like you just something you got into. And that's why I reached out, because it seems like, you got a disability, but you're still going after things. And right. I like to do a little research on my people, like before I, find out, so I don't have dumb questions asked. And then I saw you posted where you're in front of that large crowd for the Daughters of the Revolution for Elizabeth.
Oh, Daughters of the American Revolution. Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. So so first I Google Earl Granville and some Civil War guy comes up. So then I Google Earl Granville disabled vet. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking hero. So that's my bone. I'm like, you know what? They say heroes sometimes don't wear capes. And what I've learned about you, my friend, that's what you are.
Well, thanks, man. I'm humbled by that. Yeah, I got a unique story, and it's been a very unique past few years, and we'll definitely get into it. So,
before we get everyone, I'm speaking with Earl Granville, and like I said, he's very unassuming, and then you start to find out about this guy, and it's like, holy shit, this guy's done some amazing things. And so my first question is, how are you? And we'll get into Afghanistan, Iraq, and everything. But before losing your leg, were you the same person, like outgoing and getting after it, or did that whole? Were you more? You didn't want to play. You said you didn't want to play the victim anymore, and you just decided to make a change. So,
right. I definitely am a different person than I was before being wounded. Absolutely. I'm even more different of a person from the other adversity that came into my life, but we'll get in that later. I'm sure you probably read about it, but yeah, man, it was a lot of growing up to do. And I look at our society today, and there's this wave of people wanting to be a victim. All right. And I only say that because I kind of see it when it's right in front of me. And the only reason why I know what I'm looking at is because I once had that mentality. And it's like all that stuff, like I said, we'll get into later. Now it's like even in our politics, it's and I don't talk much about politics, but some of our politicians, like, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim. And it's like, man, when you start putting this mindset into people, it's like when you call a child stupid their whole life, they think they're stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So when you tell people their whole lives you're a victim, they carry a victim mentality. And that is very dangerous. We're supposed to be empowering each other, not saying you're a victim, you're going to be oppressed. It's a mindset. I could be a victim of what happened to me and all these bad things that happened in my life. And I was a victim of it, but I don't have to carry myself as a victim. I carried myself as a victim at one point, and I was completely miserable, and I was going nowhere in life. I just stayed stagnant. Felt like the world owed me everything.
Yeah, That's the worst feeling too.
Mm-hmm. But we're gonna get into that later, Dave.
So, and was one of the contributing factors for you making the change was the loss of your brother? Was that a real big? I mean, clearly he was your twin brother, so I'm sure that had a major impact.
Yeah, that's where the victim mentality stayed. And Dave, you want to get a taste of this, and really, let me break it down a little bit. I'll even back it up if that's cool with you.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. Anybody out there? I'm a 9-year veteran in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. I'm an infantryman my whole career. I joined the military literally because of my twin brother, Joe. That was it. I had no desire to be a soldier. And I think when I was when I was 17 and Joe was joining the military, he asked what I thought about it. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, my childhood was going to punk shows and playing guitar a little bit. So like the realm of being a soldier, it just didn't fit in there. I felt like it was my attitude and that was my surrounding at the time. So I never thought of joining the military. However, what made me join? I think you could call it selfish, you call it whatever you want. It was free college. When I'm 17 years old at the time, and I thought, oh, they'll pay for my school. What can I get out of this? That was my mindset at the time, Dave. So Joe and I graduated high school. We had a good summer and off the basic training. We went to Fort Benning, Georgia. We landed there September 1st, 2001. We all know what happened 11 days later.
I was there
So,
in New York City.
Were you?
Yeah.
My older brother was too. He was stationed in Staten Island in the Coast Guard. So
I could still see that day clear. I mean, it's so beautiful. So blue skies. It was absolutely beautiful.
yeah, it was a Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember we didn't get to see any of that footage because we're in basic training. We don't get it's not like we have TVs. It's not like we have magazines. We just kind of heard about it.
You know what? I apologize.
And all the rumors started.
I wanted to get into I should have explained more who you are in your military service because we're both disabled veterans. You are more, yours is clearly more visible than what I experienced.
It's never a pissing contest, Dave.
I know. It's all, we're all one. And I was at Fort Benning too. So I was airborne. I stayed and went to airborne school, and then I was attached to 173rd. But yeah, so go ahead. Okay. Go ahead with yours.
Well, I remember those towers got hit, man. I looked at my brother, like, fuck this. I didn't join for this. There's just that attitude I had at times. That's who I was back then. Well, we graduated basic. Went to Bosnia, Joe and I. Easy deployment. We were there 0203. Literally familiar with the Bosnian conflict. But anybody out there, what was going on in Bosnia in the early 90s, there was a slaughterfest going on there. It was read the book Love Thy Neighbor by Peter Maas. I mean, it talks a lot about what those people were going through there. And NATO finally stepped in 95 and we have to stop this. So NATO forces came together and they stopped the slaughtering and go on. But the time we got there was absolutely no fighting. Our presence there was to make sure it didn't pick back up. So there really wasn't a threat to us. Easy deployment. It was 7 months over there. First time leaving the country. Pretty cool. Came home. Actually, we left Bosnia March 19, 2003. The day we were invading Iraq was the day we were leaving Bosnia. That's why I never forget the day, because the joke was they're just going to send us they're going to send us east instead of west back to the States.
Right.
So when we came home from that, I enrolled in a Lackawanna college, got 2 semesters in. Another warning order comes up. It was Iraq. Being that we're Guard, it was a volunteer mission for the guys that were just in Bosnia. So I was like, I'm not going to fucking go, man. I'll stay back. Joe, on the other hand, he's going to go. So put me in this situation where, God forbid, if something happened to Joe, I'd be crushed. So I decided better put my big girl pants on, and off I went to Iraq with Joe. Dave, let me tell you something, dude. Best decision I ever made. Why do I mean that? Before that Iraq deployment, my mindset, what can I get out of the military? What can I get out of this, right? But going to Iraq, becoming an NCO, and it made me realize, man, son of a bitch, man, this is it's not about me, it's about us. Whether the politics of we should be there or not, that shit didn't matter. All that mattered was the people around me and us having a mission to do and those dangerous situations we were in. So it kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and it made me love being a soldier. Became an NCO and took on more responsibilities. I loved what I did, dude. Re-upped my contract over there, and so did Joe. Came home, got two more semesters in at Lackawanna College, and working those college jobs at the mall or at roofing in the summer, just keeping myself busy. We got another warning order for Afghanistan, same ballpark, volunteer mission. I raised my hand right away, fuck yeah, I'll go. Joe, on the other hand, he stayed back. He's now married, and him and his wife are starting a family. So he's like, look, I can't just volunteer for stuff anymore. We are scheduled to go to Iraq in another year or so with the 56th Brigade. We will be told to go on that. How about we just do that together? And I'm like, sorry, dude, cutting this cord. Off I went. I'm just getting my associate's degree, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm graduating. This fell in my lap, and I'm like, well, this is a good transition, I feel like. And on this deployment, we're part of the reconstruction teams in Afghanistan. Our providence was Gardez. And anybody out there unfamiliar with what we were doing is my platoon, we were the security force. So it was a mix of a bunch of different combat arms. We were the security force for the actual core PRT, reconstruction team, which is full of like civil affairs, civilian engineers. It's a very unique mission. I never knew anything like that in the military. Like we worked a lot with the Air Force and other branches, but mainly the Air Force. So it was pretty cool. Well, like I said, we would escort like civil affairs officers while they would have meetings with village elders or local government, whatever it may be. And they would all sit, maybe you're familiar with this, they'd all sit in the backseat of our 1151 Humvees or MRAPs. At this point, I was promoted to staff sergeant. So I'm taking on more responsibility, squad leader, all that stuff. And then we ended up having to escort this one officer. His name is Major Scott Haggerty. Thing with Major Haggerty, he always liked to be in charge of the vehicle he was in, no matter what. It's just his MO, it's just what he did. All right. So he would always take that shotgun seat. I saw on the roster he was going to be in my vehicle. I knew he was going to wanted to be a vehicle commander. I don't make a big deal about it. I'm like, whatever, dude, that's fine. So I said to him, how about I be your gunner? I'm going to put Craig Rains, who originally would be gunning for me. He's going to be a passenger and I'll gun for you instead. So at least I stay with the vehicle. Right. And as a 4-day mission, our FOB was in Gardez, the capital of the Paktia province, but we were doing this 4-day mission. We were staying in a little tents in Zormont for FOB Zormont, a little FOB out there. And what we were doing there, helping build a site for a school. And we were just like in the grassroots of all this. No building was starting yet. Major Haggerty was having his meetings with the local government. And on the very 4th day, we're leaving the site of where we want to build this school. We had to take a different route back to FOB Zormont to fuel up before we went back to Gardez because there was intel. Like, we just needed a different route. We'll put it that for safety reasons. Pull out our Blue Force trackers or our maps, for anybody familiar with that. Pulled out our maps, found a different route, a little longer than what we usually take, but it definitely seemed a lot safer, like open fields. We're not crawling through buildings and stuff like that with these big vehicles going 5 miles an hour, which is basically a choking point. So we took this route. And I got to tell you, Dave, for the first time in Afghanistan, man, I saw bright green grass. I've been there for 3 months at this point. The vegetation I saw, we've been all over this damn province, and this area we were in looked beautiful.
Where were you? I was in FOB Airborne. We were like 50 miles south of Kabul. Where was Gardez? Where's that?
So that was eastern Afghanistan. The province, it bordered Pakistan.
Okay, so you were right there. Okay.
Yeah, we were more south. We would do. Did we patrol? No, I'm thinking Bagram. I'm getting mixed up. But yeah, I've been to Kabul after I got out of the army, but not when I was there as a soldier. But anyway, we ended up taking this different route, and I remember saying over the headset, "Holy fuck, who's watering the grass in Afghanistan? It's beautiful where we're at." Dave, the next thing I remember, I saw nothing but black, and when you put your head underwater when you go swimming or something like that, the noise you're hearing, it's like just a faint noise. Yeah, it's not even I heard muffle. It's like when you put your head underwater and you're the only one in the water and you're just sitting there, just like that faint noise, like your ears are blocked. That's the best way to describe what I was hearing at the time. And I felt a momentum. And in my mind, while this is happening, I'm saying to myself, what the fuck is going on right now? Finally, I come to, and I open my eyes. Big, beautiful sky. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon over there. Man, why am I on the ground? Holy shit. My feet are backwards and I'm full of blood. The vehicle, 1151 Humvee, completely destroyed. We just hit a roadside bomb. All I wanted to do, Dave, was assess the situation. Is anybody else hurt? Are we getting ambushed? Are people shooting at us right at the moment? I had no working weapon, so I couldn't even defend myself. Luckily, there wasn't an ambush, and I couldn't even stand up. So at this point, I'm just hoping I don't bleed out and die. My medic got to me, Doc Eric Jones, Air Force dude. Doc Jones started working on me immediately, and I said, "How's everybody else doing?" He's like, "They're fine. They're good. We're working on them." He puts a pressure dressing on my right leg. I'm still bleeding. Puts a tourniquet on my right leg. I'm still bleeding. Slow it down. He then puts me on a litter, and him and three other of my guys, they carry me behind an MRAP, waiting for the medevac chopper to come in. When they carried me on the MRAP, dude, they walked me right past two body bags, and that was Specialist Derek Holland. He was driving the vehicle that day, and Major Scott Haggerty of Stillwater, Oklahoma, who took my seat that day. Derek just turned 20 years old. So, hindsight, what the fuck do I have to bitch about? All right. So as we move forward, Doc, all of a sudden I start smelling something on my leg and this tingly feeling. Doc Jones put QuikClot on my leg to finally get the bleeding under control. He didn't even tell me about it. I could just smell it. And I'm like, "Is that QuikClot you just put on?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Whew, it stinks, you know?" Gave me a shot of morphine. Medevac chopper landed. They put me on it. Well, before they took off, there was one more survivor in our vehicle, and that was the Afghan governor who was in the back seat. We were escorting him as well. So it was just myself, the Afghan governor, and he had his own security force as well in different vehicles, their own little Haji trucks.
Right.
And one of their own actually got on the medevac chopper as well. He wasn't wounded or anything. He just was there to continue to escort this governor. Well, as medevac chopper takes off, this dude, I'm 24 years old right now when this is going on. This governor looks 10 times worse than I do. He looks pretty beat up. I don't give a shit what your faith is. I don't care about any of that stuff. This guy was in agonizing pain. I wasn't sure he was going to live or not. I don't know if he did live or not, to be honest with you. I know he made it to Bagram with me, but in this moment.
Did you realize the extent of the damage to you? Were you aware, or were you just like a shock, or the morphine didn't phase you, didn't hit you yet?
The way my legs looked, I was like, when I say my feet were backwards, they weren't like 180 degrees backwards, but they were probably like, if we're looking at the clock,
they didn't look right. They didn't look right at all.
Oh no, I mean, it looked bad. It looked really bad. And then I'm just watching everything happen. When they put me on the litter, they were just dangling, like I couldn't move them. Like, fuck, man, this is like, it's definitely something. Well, we, like I said, governor is right next to me. I don't give a shit, like I said, what your faith is. I just grabbed this dude's hand, and I just hope, like, maybe the two of us can get out of this. He looked a lot older than I did. And when your body goes through this trauma, obviously age has an effect of how you're going to react to it. So I didn't give a shit. Like, and I say that for a reason. But on that helicopter ride, the Black Hawk flight, it was, just so long. And all I wanted to do at this point, like, I'm starting to because all we got to do is wait in this vehicle. And all I wanted to do was kind of like sit up, lean up, just to get more view of my legs, right? And I would get one of these. And I try to look up again, and I'll get one of these. Well, eventually, I thought it was a door gunner of the Black Hawk, and it was that police officer, that Afghan. And I looked up at him, we locked eyes, and he just shook his head at me and just kind of started rubbing my head, kind of like I show him compassion. And I was like, motherfucker, you don't have to be doing that. You could be looking at your own dude right next to me, but I thought that was pretty awesome. So when he got to Bagram, did some x-rays, the whole more medical shit. Finally, the doctor says, we're going to have to do surgery on your right hip immediately. And I mean, my response is, yeah, sure. I'm in your hands right now. So you do what you got to do. Right before we went into surgery, Dave, once again, here comes that Afghan police officer. Big smile on his face, walks up, and he does this. And he starts talking, and he doesn't even speak English. But we all know body language, right?
Right.
You know, and it just, man, I got to tell you, I needed that so bad at that moment. And maybe you can attest to this as well. We're always not to trust those guys over there. Like when we're working, we could be working with them all. It never happened in my unit, but you heard, I've met a lot of people at Walter Reed that dealt with it. One just goes rogue for whatever reason. I mean, Taliban sees you're working with the Americans, so I'm going to kidnap your daughter, and if you don't kill some Americans, I'm going to rape your daughter and throw her on your porch, her carcass.
One of the outposts, we had a special forces where you know how the blue to green training they do, whatever there,
right?
And one of their guys just went and killed I think it was a Navy SEAL. It was a small little outpost, and they were doing stuff out there. And then when we came in, so the security was up and stuff. But yeah, one of the guys got killed by one of the guys they're training. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah. You don't know who to trust over there. They all look, because I was attached. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was attached to the battalion commander, and I was a security detail. So like you, I would escort. So we went all over the province, and I can't remember where the hell. I just remember the Tangi Valley we went to. That was a dangerous place. I can't remember the province, but I do remember we had to go through all the bazaars and walking on foot. And you don't know who Taliban is. They all are like greeting you and stuff. And next thing you know, they could be reporting to, so it's over there. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's something, man. I mean, obviously this dude was a good guy. I mean, it kind of changed my perspective on some of the people over there. Look, man, this guy was just born in this part of the world.
Yeah.
And, this is what he deals with. But obviously he's definitely got a good heart for him to just be looking after me. And, I just met that dude. So, I mean, I always like to say that because I think in the beginning, small-minded who I was in my early 20s after going to Iraq and now in Afghanistan, like, oh, don't trust these people, right. And that just put a whole different mindset on how I look at people in general. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It just, it just blew my mind. So went under for surgery. Next thing I remember, somebody's pulling a breathing tube out of my throat from my mouth, and nurse is calming me down. Oh, calm down, sweetheart. Because I felt like I just came to, and I just, you get out of surgery, you're like, what the fuck? And got the breathing tube out. I chilled out, and she says to me, hey, just so you know, you're in Landstuhl Air Base in Ramstein, Germany. So all that in between time, I'm in a whole different continent at this point, and all that in between time, I have no idea. I don't remember any of it. So later on that day, Doc comes in and he gives me a lowdown on what's going on. My right leg, where most of my damage was, looking at it externally, even on the battlefield, they worked on nothing but my right leg. And both my legs were beat up, but my right leg looked, I'm not kidding when I say like 10 times worse. So they ended up telling me, we're going to salvage your right leg. We don't know what's going to be like in the future, but your left leg, we're going to amputate it through the knee. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, don't you mean my right leg? And they internally, I guess, my muscles were so ruptured that they were letting off all this potassium, and it was killing my kidneys. So they went in there to pull the muscle out. That's how it was explained to me. And, as I grow and I got involved in like doing all this athletic activity, I learned about rhabdo, and that's exactly what it sounds like. When you use your muscles too much, it lets off that potassium. And I was kind of taken back about like later on in life. But anyway, they took my left leg, and I got to tell you, I felt very optimistic about the future. More surgeries at Germany on my right leg, and finally got the green light to go back to the States. Walter Reed Army Medical Center, and this is going to be my home. Now, I want you to think about this, Dave. This is now 2008, June of 2008. Every summer, the Taliban come out and play when the snow melts. The surge in Iraq happened a year prior. So you can imagine the culture and how many people are there missing limbs or, careers coming to an end. It's like we were the majority of people there,
Oh, dude,
especially.
they sent me to BAMC in San Antonio, Brook Army Medical. And so they got that Warrior Center there. And that's
Yep.
where they really perfected the prosthetics and everything. Yeah,
Mhm.
dude. I mean, I saw it every day. So I know what you're
Mhm.
talking about. That was the majority. You'd see guys missing limbs, burn victims. It's like, man, and like you said,
Seems
your
like you
career,
guys
your
got a
life.
lot of you guys at Brook, you guys got Senator the Intrepid, you guys got a lot of the burn casualties from my
Yep,
understanding.
yep.
You guys like specialize in that.
Yeah.
But but you think of it as like a somber place. Maybe you could attest to this as well. You think of Walter Reed, like careers are coming to an end, lives are altered, spouses are leaving their loved ones because they can't handle their injuries. So you think of it as that, like I said, that somber place. I felt it was a complete damn opposite. It's like that warrior spirit never left, man. Like, holy shit. Like it was just like um the Army and the Marines are duking it out. What's a better branch? The Air Force is still getting picked on. Like it was so cool to still be in that type of culture, And I think that was so important in my recovery. But before I got a really big full taste of Walter Reed, my family came down to DC 3 days after I got there. And one by one, they would come visit me. First, my mom, like in the ICU, they couldn't all go in at once. So my mom came to see me, my dad came to see me, one of my other siblings, and eventually Joe, And I remember that conversation, man. I was in such good spirits. I, was not going to let this define who I am. And Joe at one point says to me, I should have just gone with you. Hold on. Time out. Gone with me, man. You could have been killed. Like, I'm trying to be upbeat and positive about this, and I feel pretty damn good. Like, hey, man, I'm here. I'm alive. My dick didn't get blown off. I'm going to be okay. Let's move forward on this, right? And I got my independence back at Walter Reed. I learned how to snowboard again. I went to Vail, Colorado with a special prosthetic leg, go snowboarding. I ended up like learning how to play sled hockey. Like life
That
was
looks
good,
cool.
man.
I've seen that.
What's
That's
that?
the sled hockey looks really cool. I've
It's
seen.
intense, man. And a lot of I played for a team called the USA Warriors, and there's a stand-up team and a sled team. And one day we threw the stand-up guys in the sled, and we just rolled all over them. And they all said, I don't know how the hell you guys do it. And I never played hockey when I had two legs, so like my whole hockey like life was in a sled. So like it just like it's not like I was missing having two legs playing hockey.
Right.
And it's fun, man. I haven't played in a long, long time, just like it's in the way.
So how long was your rehab? Like you basically probably had to relearn how to walk, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, it was about 18 months total. I was still getting surgery on my right leg. Like I said, it was salvaged, and we weren't sure where it was going. But I kept it. But for a long time, I was in a wheelchair. I'm watching guys who got hurt after me walk before me, like because I just had to get surgery after surgery. And the day came, Dave. At this point, I'm already fitted for a socket on my prosthetic side. I just need the ability to put weight on my right leg to stand up to put the actual prosthetic leg on the socket, right? Socket's where I put my stump in. Right. So I fitted for a socket. Finally, the day came. It was a Friday, and they said, when you come to physical therapy on Monday, you're going to be standing up straight. They removed my cast. They put they removed the hard cast, put an air cast on my right leg. Like, this is fucking great. This is awesome. Finally, I'm going to be walking. And I show up at physical therapy on Monday. They put my socket on. They then attach the leg to it, and I get to the parallel bars, and for the first time in a while, I'm standing up straight, and I just getting used to prosthetic walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I just felt it was a good feeling, man. Finally, like I'm upright again. Well, the I said to my physical therapist, can we walk around? There's an indoor track in physical therapy. She's like, can I walk on the track? I'm like, yeah, you can do that. Oh, but first, put this vest on. What the fuck's a vest for? So on the back of the vest, there's a carabiner, and parallel with the on the ceiling with the track, there's this rail system with a rope hanging down.
Okay. Yep.
So that rope attaches to the vest, and in case I wipe out. And I'm like, I don't fucking need this, man. Like, but it's protocol. You do what you gotta. Like, if I fall, it's not like I'm going 80 miles an hour. I fall, I'll figure out how to get back up. But first time doing it, protocol, whatever. Oh, before you do it, here's your walker. Tennis balls and all, man. And I'm thinking to myself, my mood completely changed, right?
Sure. Mentally, you probably
Here I
like,
am.
fuck, what?
Like, I don't need this shit, but it is what it is, man. I think it was just being impatient. So here I am in my granny walker doing my laps. You know, meanwhile, I'm watching everybody else in physical therapy. There's a triple amputee. He's missing both his legs very high, and he's missing, I want to say it was his right arm below the elbow. And he's not wearing like a claw or anything like that. He's wearing like a rubber stopper on that, which, you know, something you can beat up more durable. And picture this, he's doing push-ups, but he's pushing his whole body up in the air, like, because he has no legs, right? So he's just killing it with his headphones in, jamming out. And here I am in my granny walker doing the laps. And I swear this dude saw I had like a piss poor attitude at the time. And I'm doing my laps. I'm like, man, I just want to, like, you know, move fast, you know. And I'm coming around the turn, and I'm going to be walking right past him at one point. And he stops what he's doing, and he looks up at me, and I know he's about to say something to me. And as he gets closer, he just says to me, would you fucking lighten up, you paper cut? And I'm like, you know what? There's perspective right there if I've never seen it. He's absolutely right. Like, here I am giving myself such a hard time, but look where he's at and look what he's doing. Right? I'm going to get there eventually. Patience, patience, patience. Right. And that's what I should have been doing in the first place. Attitude is everything, I learned, man. So, like I said, at Walter Reed and learning how to walk again, you know, eventually I did get that independence, snowboarding, hockey, all this cool shit. Now I'm letting this slow me down. Where I'm medically retired out of the Army, beginning of 2010. And I moved back home to Scranton, Pennsylvania.
New York.
I'm sorry?
I'm from Binghamton, New York.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
You know where Scott, you know, 81 then, obviously?
Uh-huh, yeah.
I live right off the Waverly exit. Well, for you, if you were going south, on 81, it would be there's an exit called Scott. If I'm coming from Binghamton home, that's where I go. I take that Scott exit. I live like 5 miles. Seen it.
I haven't been. I mean, I was back home 2 years ago for my father's funeral, but I didn't travel that way. But I used to go there all the time and go see concerts at the Lackawanna Stadium there, and on our way to like Hershey Park. Yeah, Montage. That's it. Montage Mountain. Yep, and Hershey Park, we'd take that. Yeah, I always used to drive through Pennsylvania because, you know, we're right next to the border. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man, it's a small world, man. Crazy.
Right.
So I was actually, I moved in with the girl I was seeing. She had a place in DuPont. That's right off of 81, like south of Scranton, north of Wilkes-Barre, in between. And she's a nurse. And we ended up every year, the department she works in at the hospital in Scranton, the higher ups of her department take the lower ups for a nice black tie event, like every December. So this is like a week before Christmas of 2010. So I'm getting ready for this event. I get out of the shower, put my prosthetic on, put the suit pants on, just a t-shirt before I actually put the tie on and everything. I'm at the mirror, you know, doing my hair, you know, get hair gel in there, and my phone rings. I just let it go to voicemail, finish doing my hair, wash the rest of the hair gel out, you know, then I go grab my phone. I see I got a missed call, and it was from my mom. So I listen to the voicemail, and she says to me, you need to call me immediately. And she's so distraught on the other end. So I give her a call back, and she picks up the phone, and she says my name so ever somber. And I'm like, Mom, what's the matter? Joe committed suicide. Dave, I gotta tell you, man,
Is that like your leg
losing
got
my
blown
leg was
off
pretty
again?
fucking easy compared to
Oh,
compared to
sure.
the
It's your twin brother. I mean, that's not even sure it's your brother, but this is your twin brother.
right.
You know, were there signs? Were there
I
signs
know
that he
Joe's
was?
struggling with some stuff. I know, according to Joe's wife, Joe is very guilty on what happened to me. You gotta remember, Joe's career as a soldier was a lot different than mine. Joe is very, very, very good at what he does. Okay, he was very good as a soldier. He would get promoted before I would. He would always stand out. People know him; they didn't know me. Even growing up, he just played that role of the older brother out of the two of us. So I think it's him seeing me like this just destroyed him. And I'm not saying that's why he did what he did. I think there's other things in his life that are going on as well, which I'm not going to get into. Um, but I know he was definitely a different person when I got hurt. So as I move forward, man, I ended up the next day I had to go see Joe's family. I had to go to his house, and at the house was Joe was now active duty in the National Guard, so he's a training NCO, and before that he was a corrections officer at SCI Waymart State Prison in Pennsylvania. So some of his prison guard buddies were there. Some of the guys we served with, some of the guys we went to high school with, some of our families there. You can imagine the energy in this house, dude. And I'm just like, man, I can't. What do we do now? What happens now? Right. So like tomorrow, today's Sunday, the 19th. Tomorrow, somebody's going to be at the armory. Okay, I need you to go with me to the armory. We're going to work the logistics on this. So my cousin Paul, my buddy Dave, who I've known my whole life, the two of them picked me up. We went to the armory. There was our readiness NCO, Sergeant Peterson. He gave me a hug, showed his condolences. There's Joe's desk on the other side of the room. I take a box. I start putting stuff in the box from his desk. Okay, got that done. Sergeant Peterson, is there any paperwork that needs to be filled out? Okay, there is. Let me do that. I'll knock that out right now. You, Dave, go talk with supply. It's going to be an open casket. I want Joe laid to rest in his dress blues. I want to make sure all his awards are up to date. I need you to go St. Rosalima Church. You're going to talk with the priest there. Joe is a Catholic, so we want to make sure he has Catholic services for his funeral. I need you to go to priest funeral home. Go with Steffi. Go pick out the casket. And all I started doing, delegating all these tasks, trying to keep myself busy, prepping for my brother's funeral, but not even like really taking it in what I'm about to deal with. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I just the stuff has to get done, so I'm going to start moving forward with it. So day came at Joe's funeral. I shaved my beard and got my dress blues. Walked up to that casket, give him the final salute. That's that. Now what? You ever hear idle hands is the devil, Dave? Did you ever hear that phrase?
Say, did you did you start getting mentally depressed, drugs, alcohol, anything like that, turn to something to kind of ease that pain? Because clearly you're in pain. You had to have been in pain.
A lot of it, I'm telling you, man, I drank a lot. I done some drugs. I'm not gonna lie, won't get into all that stuff, but a catalyst to that route I was taking and the things I was using was what we were talking about before, being a victim, feeling sorry for myself, thinking the fucking world owes me everything. I just lost my leg, I lost my career, and I lost my brother. In my life, all three big tragedies all close together. Dave, let me ask you something, dude. Where does playing a victim get you?
It depends. If you want to keep playing the victims, you're going to play the victim, or you have another choice.
Well, let me just shorten that answer. Playing a victim gets you nowhere.
Right.
Absolutely nothing positive about it. So that's the route I was taking. I'm a combat veteran. You know what I did for my country? Like, nobody owes us shit, dude. Nobody owes us. I truly do believe that. And But that's what that victim mentality is going to do. Dysfunctional veteran, like so toxic. Like, but this is the reality of what I felt the rest of my life is going to be like.
Just another
So,
statistic.
yeah, and I became very close with Joe's wife. Uh, um, she was one of my closest friends, and she still is. Um, but like, I know she's my in-law, but I looked at her as like my actual sister. Like we were just that close, busting each other's chops, giving each other shit. Um, she would tell me stuff like, Joe was so proud of things I had accomplished, like after I lost my leg. And I feel like a lot of siblings, you don't have that relationship, like you're complimenting each other, like, oh, good job, dude. Like we never had that. So when I went to Vail to learn how to snowboard again, I actually made the cover or the front page of the Vail Daily. Um, so when you put a quarter in those machines, you pull the door down, you take a paper out.
Right.
I took every fucking paper out because I'm looking at myself and I'm like,
I would
oh my
too.
God. And I took them home with me and I go, oh, look at me. And I'm just showing them, people handing them out. I guess Joe showed all his buddies that. Like, so I hearing from Steffi, his wife, and hearing from his buddies, like, man, Joe was, it's nice to finally meet you out here with a lot of these guys. Joe talked about you all the time. And I'm like, here I am in this part of my life playing a victim, just self-destructing. Would Joe be proud of me now? Absolutely not. So I turned my life around a little bit and I started challenging myself. I started off small and I started ruck marching. And anybody out there, doesn't know what ruck marching is, basically on the recreational side, I just put weight in a backpack, put the backpack on and just walk.
Go.
And I would just get those miles in. And moving forward, I got a running blade. I started running. Got highly involved in CrossFit. I just kept pushing myself. Gonna do this for Joe. Gonna do that for Joe. Gonna do this for Joe. Or eventually, I started doing go rucks, and I did my first Spartan race in 2013. And while I was there, about to start the race, there was these men and women in multicam uniforms. And one of them walked up to me with his hand out and he said, "Are you Earl Granville?" And I look up at this guy and I know who he is. His name is Noah Galloway. I'm never familiar with that name. So you have to check out his Instagram. So
Sounds
Noah,
familiar.
Noah was 101st Airborne. His vehicle hit a roadside bomb sometime before my injuries. I think it was in Iraq in 2005 or 06 or something like that. And he lost his left arm and left leg. So now this guy, in his accomplishments, he's been on Dancing with the Stars and on the cover of Men's Health magazine as a double amputee. I know who this dude is, and here he is with his hand out. Hey, Earl, nice to see you. And I'm like I fangirl a little bit. Like, and what I love about Noah, it's like, it's not just his accomplishments, it's how he carries himself. I feel like there's all these, everybody needs to be the next Instagram star, bro vet in your face. I'm gonna offend you so hard because that's what I do to try to be funny. And it's like, all right, we get it, dude, you're funny. But the way Noah carries himself, that humility, that purpose, that's what I appreciate about somebody like that. And I'm not bashing the other stuff, but like everybody else is like that. Meanwhile, this dude is just so humble. I'm like, I'd rather be like that than the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
That's just what I appreciate about, someone like that. So he's with an organization, Operation Enduring Warrior, and he's like, their mission is to honor, empower, motivate wounded and disabled veterans. And recently we just added law enforcement to help them stay active, be a part of a team once again, and not let their disabilities define who they are. And he asked if I wanted to run the race with them. And I'm like, dude, I'd be more than honored to do that. So I ran the Spartan race with Noah and the rest of OEW. Right before we got to the starting line, they all went to the side. On their little tiny assault packs, they pulled out a gas mask. And they mask up and they run this race. And I'm like, these guys are hardcore. You know what I mean? Ran the race with them. At the time, it was the hardest thing I've accomplished since I lost my leg. That race, it was just Wintergreen, Virginia, up and down Black Diamonds at a ski resort in August. Like, it was brutal. I didn't train right for it at all. So afterwards, Noah says to me, "What do you think about joining our organization?" And I was like, man, am I ready for something like that? And I thought about it. This guy who I looked up to said, you should join our organization. Whether it was premeditated or not, like if the rest of the team said, why don't you talk to him and joining? If this guy's going to ask me to join, I'm going to freaking do it. So what we did was I trained my ass off. They sent me down to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Now, might I add, each masked athlete, they're now a cadre over the weekend, and each masked athlete is once prior military or currently still in the military. So that's one thing to become a masked athlete in OEW. And they just put me through hell with 9 other candidates throughout the weekend, and half the class failed, and I happened to be one that passed. And for the first time in a long time, Dave, I've felt like I've earned a spot on a team. And I didn't realize it at the time. I always say like OEW turned my life around. To be more specific, going through INDOC with these guys turned my life around, where somebody's screaming at me, like we all happen to us in the military, basic training or whatever it may be. They're screaming at you, knife handed. And I'm dealing with that with my disability, and it's like, all right, fuck you, I'll show you what I can do. You know what I mean? It wasn't coddling. It wasn't like, oh, you don't have I remember being at Walter Reed as a patient. Somebody said to me, you don't have to do anything again the rest of your life. Like, you've done your dues. And I'm like, well, I'm only 24 years old, man. I mean, I have a lot to do still. So here, watching these guys put me through hell and then actually earning a spot on this team, it just turned my life around. Because now I have a responsibility with helping men and women in the aspect of what I was once in when I lost my leg, more than when I lost my brother, helping them reach their physical goals. And what I think a lot of people are looking for when they take their uniform off, it's being a part of something, once again,
Right.
just like they were in the military. So my mindset went right back to that Iraq deployment. It's not about me. I saw the big picture and I realized it's about us. And it was a huge, huge turnaround. And just, I don't know, like it didn't happen overnight, but looking back, I saw the big picture and, people are going to rely on me now. I need to get my shit together. And on the mental part of it, losing Joe, losing my leg, like I stopped letting my disability define who I am. I'm a public speaker now. That's usually what I do before COVID happened. And I do little tours all over the country throughout the year. And I stopped putting on my Earl Granville wounded vet. Like I stopped doing that. Like I don't need to be defined at this the rest of my life, because there's so much more I want to accomplish. And I think sometimes with some people in the military, they let such a reality. It is a short time in our lives. They let that define them the rest of their lives. And I encourage people not to do that. Like, have pride in what you've accomplished, and no one can ever take that away from you.
Nope.
But don't let it define your whole life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think as human beings, we need to find those 3 Ps in our lives. Military or not, no matter who you are, we need 3 Ps in our lives that are very important. We all need a purpose. We must have a passion for something. And we must be a part of something bigger than ourselves. Purpose, passion, part of something. Okay? Recipe to find those 3 Ps. A good attitude. I only say that because my dysfunctional veteran attitude, I was going to get nowhere in life with that. Comfort zone, we have to take a leap out of it. If we stay stagnant, we'll never find what we're looking for. And number 3 is community. I've learned the power of what a community could do. I'm very highly involved in my CrossFit gym. We do a lot for charities in the area. We go Christmas caroling, with old people. And it's just being a part of something bigger than yourself within your community. Man, it really makes a huge difference in our lives. We look at what's going on now in our situation in COVID throughout all the world. We want to focus here in America, where these politicians are telling you need to stay home. Fuck your small business. Don't worry about getting paid, because what we need to do for humans for you to stay home and not spread the virus. Like, well, how am I going to feed my family? What am I supposed to do here? Mental health is at a drastic point right now of all this. That's where it comes from. I always say this: the government has failed us when it comes to that point. So it's up to us, the community, to work together, to look after each other, being a part of something bigger than yourself. And I don't mean, I'm a dart league getting drunk all the time. Something that's empowering people around you. Does that make sense?
Totally. You're not going to accomplish anything sitting at a bar and drinking and playing darts, other than sitting at a bar playing, drinking darts, and then spending money and not,
And look, don't get me wrong, man. I'll
Right.
drink with my friends and shit like
Well,
that. But
but
if it's
but you need a break from all that you're doing in the positive side of empowering people and staying motivated and motivating people and speaking to people, and like you said, not letting your injury define you as who you are. Okay, I've got it. You got the option of, wah, poor me, or okay, yeah, I got this. What's next? I can accomplish
right,
whatever I want, because your mindset, like you said, that's where it comes from. If your mind isn't
right.
strong, it doesn't matter how physically strong you are. If your mind is weak, then you're just not going to be where you're at.
That's where that resiliency comes in, and that's where that challenging yourself, like, okay, what's my next objective now? I look at uh, you know, when you talk about a weak mind or something like that, one of the biggest things is I focus a lot on mental health. It's what I'm in school for, be a counselor at University of Scranton. It's the power of being vulnerable can do as well. And I always say, like, you don't label yourself a victim, but if something is wrong though, and you're not yourself, that comfort zone, what I discussed a little bit earlier, that second recipe to finding those 3 Ps, it's maybe talking to somebody. It could be talking to a professional counselor, or it could even be what I found out, that community aspect of carrying the weight together, so you don't have to carry that weight of adversity inside of yourself by yourself. Look, I know we look at social media, everybody hates each other, especially in political climate. I generally think people are fucking awesome, man. Like, seriously, when you surround yourself with the right people, like, you could really take on anything. And it's us working together, not for whatever mission we have, but also looking after ourselves. That is so important. Those relationships could really save your life. They saved mine. Honest to God, everyone's, oh my God, you do all this good shit. Like you said, that award you saw on Instagram that I got, and I got up there and gave that speech. I felt like, guys, like, I'm just doing something. It's like I'm just a small person out of a big picture here. That's it. It's generally the people I surround myself with a powerful mission to help other people out. This is like, people look at it, you're doing such good things for other people. I'm like, guys, this is helping me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
All we
You're
need to
just
do as
giving
human
back.
beings, what's that?
You're just giving back, and you're just being, the reward is, you don't see it, but how you make other people empower and feel. And then the word just gets out that you're doing good things. And that's why you get rewarded for it. I mean, yeah, I know you think you don't deserve it, but of course you do. I mean, you're doing good things for other people, and you're giving of yourself. You're not selfish, you're selfless. And, people want to recognize that and tell you, hey, thank you.
I appreciate that, dude. It's just life is good, man. You know, that wave of adversity, though, it's so important. Every single one of us as human beings. When I speak to kids, when I go to schools, I start off with, who's had a bad day? If you raise their hand, who's had a bad day in their life before? If you raise their hand and said, all you son of a bitch, I don't say that, but all of you need to be raising your hand right now. Every single one of us has had a bad day in our life. Now, bad things are going to happen to us, right? We can't always control those bad things that happen to us, but we always have the ability to control how we're going to react to those bad days. Remember that. They don't have to define who we are either. But of those bad days, if we don't know what to do next, that's when we rely on each other to carry the weight of adversity, so we don't have to carry it by ourselves. And I want to show you what I have right here, because I have an example for that. So
I've seen
Dave,
this. I've seen some pictures. What is this? I've seen this.
So what this is, Dave, this is Cindy the Cinder Block.
Okay.
What Cindy represents is the heavy mental adversity, the weight that holds us down and stops us from enjoying life. Guilt, stress, depression, anxiety, loss of a loved one. We look at the environment of COVID right now. You get the idea. The bullshit that holds you down, stopping you from enjoying life, okay? Us as humans, we're pretty resilient. We can figure that shit out. We'll move forward. Yeah, I got this, man. But also us as humans, man, I used all my resources. I don't know what to do now. What's my next step? How am I going to handle this? And it's okay to feel like that. The idea now is, what are you going to do with that bad shit that you're holding? Now, in the Oscar Mike Foundation, we'll take this guy out, right? An organization kind of like OEW. And what we do is, I'll start a Spartan race carrying this. And, after a little while, it gets heavy. Luckily, I have a team with me, and I look at my buddy Joey Decker, who's a Marine, and I say, hey, dude, you want to help me carry this? So then he'll take Cindy for a little bit, or he'll carry the brick, I'll carry the chain, like we'll side by side, whatever it may be. The idea is nobody's carrying her by ourselves. And that's the same up in here. We don't have to carry that bullshit alone. Sometimes that vulnerability, it's like I said earlier, Dave, it could save your life. So the last thing we should be doing is holding it all in. I look at what's that movie? American Sniper. Chris Kyle, that movie about Chris Kyle the sniper.
Yeah.
I usually say to my audience, I said, how does society look at Chris Kyle? Just throw it out there. Throw some magic. Oh, he's a hero. He's a badass. He's this and that, blah, blah, blah. You know, some chick was like, oh, he's yummy. I'm like, fuck. Stay with me here, all right? So, and I said, anybody who haven't seen that movie, you got a spoiler alert right here. What I love most about this flick, Dave, is I don't give a shit that he was a Navy SEAL. I don't care that he was in Iraq 4 times. What I love about this flick is it shows his vulnerability. And you know what have you ever seen the movie?
I have.
So you know what I'm talking about, like when he's finally out of the military and it shows his struggles, like he's at home watching TV about what's going on over there. And you could tell Chris Kyle, he lost his purpose, right? So he finally puts his big girl pants on and he goes to talk to, I don't know, a psychiatrist or a counselor, and like, what brings you here today, Dave? Or Chris? And he's like, I feel like I should still be over there. You know, my job was to help these guys and girls out over there. I should still be over there doing that. And he turns it right back around to him, the counselor, and he says, why don't you walk down these hallways? I'm sure these guys need help here too, right? In the very next scene, you see a triple amputee in a wheelchair. Like if you remember that scene, and he's talking about how he lost all 3 of his limbs. RPG hit his Humvee. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Anyway, the very next scene, Chris Kyle's talking to 2 wounded veterans. One's a single leg amputee, the other's a triple amputee. The triple amputee is talking about how he lost all 3 of his limbs. He was reaching in his Humvee for his cigarettes, and his position at the time is when his vehicle was hit with an RPG. But because he was positioned where he was, he got to keep that one arm, which probably saved his life. Because there's a good possibility he'd probably bleed out if he lost that 4th limb. That actually is a true story, and that's my buddy Brian Anderson. I met him at Walter Reed. So what you're seeing, if you go watch that movie again, what you're seeing, that story he's telling is exactly what happened to him. Yeah, go watch it again. And Brian, I remember I became friends with Brian at Walter Reed, and it's the only person that you could probably say in the whole fucking existence, smoking saved this guy's life. You can't say that about anybody else, man.
No.
And I said, dude, you need to be telling everybody that story. It's an amazing story, like just hearing it. And the way he tells it, like I just laugh. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So anyway, back on track. Chris Kyle lost his purpose. He stepped out of his comfort zone, showed his vulnerability, and it led him to a new purpose. He's now building something part of being bigger than himself, taking these guys and girls shooting. You know, I understand his demise. It took one shithead to be an asshole and murder Chris Kyle. But my point being, though, is it was that vulnerability that shifted him into a direction of happiness and purpose once again. And I got to tell you, all those adjectives that I hear from people when I talk to an audience, oh, he's a hero, he's a badass. You know, one more adjective I got to throw out there about Chris Kyle, he's human. Just like all of us, man. And as humans, you're going to have those bad fucking days. But sometimes that vulnerability, being a part of something bigger than yourself, finding that purpose once again, so you don't have to carry that weight by yourself. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, we're all going to face that shitty bad days, man. And it's organizations like OEW, which helped me find a purpose once again, leading once again, just like when I wore that uniform. So that's all I got, dude. Got any questions?
It just make me remind myself of the phrase that I always use is that adversity introduces us to ourselves. And, you know, like you said, you got 2 sides of the coin. You got the side that says, I'm just going to sit here and like that guy told you, Walter, you don't have to do anything anymore for the rest of your life. and you could have done that and, just kind of cruise through life, collect your disability and every once a month and stay in town, go to the grocery store or do what you're doing. Just like that guy, Sydney, that I interviewed. You both are just taking charge, man. And I admire that. I really do. I sit there and look at people fully functioning, at just cruise through life. And there's way too many of them that just cruise through life. And then you see guys like you could have fucking just hung it all up. And instead, you're fucking running Spartan races. You're speaking in front of crowds. You ran for, was it Congress or state? What do you?
I ran for Congress here in Pennsylvania's 8th district.
Yeah, you ran for Congress. You're freaking going to other countries to do Spartan races. You're skiing, you're snowboarding, ice. You just, okay, this is the cards, like I told Sydney. You're playing Texas Hold'em. You were dealt a 2-7, the worst fucking hand you could get in Texas Hold'em. And you played it all the way to the river card and called, and the guy was holding jacks. And the river card came up a king, and the guy's thinking, and you stayed in. He's thinking you got king, so he fold. You go all in, and he fold. That's the way you got to play. You play the cards you've been dealt, no matter what no matter what your situation is. And that's why I like, just like I told Sydney, you are the definition of not being mediocre, because you're not cruising through life, and you're okay. I got disability, and I admire it. And like I said, I didn't know anything about you. I really didn't. I didn't know your story at all. When I saw you with a bow, I was thinking, cool, he's going to become part of a community that, just like you said, you need to part or something. And when you get in it, hold on one second. Hey, I got a Rottweiler puppy and she's tearing up my mat for my weight room that I got here. Yeah, so archery is the same thing. Like there's some events called Mountain Archery Fest and Total Archery Challenge, and you just go there and commune with people and you shoot and stuff. And I hope since you're getting into it, and I believe the guy that got you, his name's Tate, right? Tate.
Yes. Yep. He donated the bow.
He knows Sydney, the guy that I was telling you about, Sydney Smith, the W amputee. They there's a thing called Disabled Outdoorsman. Mm-hmm. And Sydney's a part of that, and they take outdoorsmen on hunts and stuff. So it's a pretty cool deal that got going on. But Tate, I believe, I don't know if I know he went on a hunt. I think he's involved with it. But yeah, I saw that, and then I saw you with the bow, and I'm thinking, cool. And like I said, I didn't know your story until now. Well, as I researched you. But it's cool that you're taking up something like archery too, man. You're just trying new things. And if you really get into it, you're going to really enjoy it. And if you ever, because I'm going to eventually end up in Montana. If you ever want to come out and do an elk hunt, dude, you want a challenge? That's a blast.
Dude,
any hunting out west. Yeah.
Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely. I got to link you up with my buddy, the guy who was taking those videos and those pictures, Johnny Lopez. I'll give you his Instagram handle. He's one of my teammates in OEW. He finally got me skydiving, but he runs the archery.
I saw you do that too. I forgot. Yep. Yeah, he does skydiving too, people.
Yep. Yeah, he pushed me on a plane, man. Well, he's got his, I think it's called your B license. That's when you jump out of a plane yourself. You're not strapped to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's one of our programs in Operation Enduring Warrior. We help our athletes get their license, go skydiving. And Johnny also, and another buddy, Caleb Brewer. Caleb is a double amputee.
Caleb, shit, yeah. I'm trying to get him on here.
Get out of here.
I'm trying to get him on here. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm trying to.
So Caleb runs our archery department. Him and Johnny. And Johnny. So picture a guy with one arm shooting a bow. Yeah,
I'm trying to get. I don't know if
fucking team do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. I think he's a competitive shooter. He's not. He wasn't disabled through the military, but he's a double amputee on his arms. He's a competitive archer. I don't know how the fuck he does it, dude, but he does it, pulling his teeth and stuff. But yeah, Caleb was on. I don't know if your buddy Johnny, but Caleb was on John Dudley's podcast, Knock On, and so I reached out to him, and he says he's interested. I think he's a little busy, but we've been in contact. Yeah, I know exactly. And I had actually contacted before I contacted you. Yeah, I just happened to see. I forgot where I saw. I don't know if it was just on the stories or something, but yeah, your picture popped up with the bow, and I was like, oh, and he's an amputee, cool. And that's why I reached.
Mhm.
That's that. And you were a disabled vet. I figured we can, hear some stories. I know you got a story with that missing a leg, and I was
Right.
right. I was more than right. I mean, let's get into the because another thing I was telling my buddy back home because I know that you're a Red Sox fan, right? And
I
he's a
am.
huge Boston. I'm a Flyers fan. He loves the Bruins. So anytime the Flyers and Bruins are playing, we always break those others' balls, except for this weekend when the Flyers when the Flyers lost both games. But I told him about you, and then I saw that picture of the Boston Marathon. So yeah, Earl here. It was viral. A picture of you carrying your. How far did you? When did you? So you ran the entire marathon, right?
Yeah. So that was actually what got me running marathons was I'm part of the Achilles Freedom Team. So Achilles International is this organization, this global organization that started by this gentleman named Dick Traum. He's the first leg amputee to run in New York City Marathon back in the 60s, I believe. And everyone, back then, they're not, it's not open minded like it was now, saying you shouldn't be here. It's a shame to the sport. Like, who gives a fuck, right? So he just did it, and he came in dead last. And Achilles is now a global organization that has people with disabilities running races. I'm part of a chapter called the Achilles Freedom Team, all disabled veterans running marathons. Now, I used to hand cycle marathons, but 2016, I hand biked the Boston Marathon. And after I finished, I waited on some of my teammates, Stefan Leroy and Cedric King, both above knee, below knee amputees. I think their legs are just reversed, their injuries where their amputations. And so like these double amputees running these marathons, I waited for them. I plotted them in, and I got Stefan in his wheelchair, and Stefan actually called me out. I was like, when are you going to actually run this? And I'm like, well, I guess I got to fucking do it now, right? So 2017, I ran my first full marathon. My friend Andy, she was my guide. And around mile 10, I just kept cramping and cramping and cramping. And like I would run and I would cramp, so I would just walk. I'd go away a little while later. I'd run and I would cramp and walk. So like there's a huge chunk of that damn race. I walked the whole damn thing because I just couldn't stop friggin' cramping. Well, when you take that turn on a Boylston, I don't give a shit what you're going through. You're going to run. Crowds around you. There's a finish line, like all that energy. And as we're getting closer to that finish line, I just said to her, yo, Andy, let me pick you up. So I swear the American flag is what made this photo. I gave her the American flag I was carrying. I put her on my shoulders, and we crossed the finish line together. And my phone was dead at that point. We went back. We Ubered back to our hotel where the rest of his team is at. We went right to where they're having dinner. Just started eating. And at this point, somebody took a photo of it, and it was already like some places on social media. I didn't even think a big thing of it, man. But the next morning, like after I got done eating, we went upstairs, we went to bed. I plugged my phone in before I went to sleep, and the time I woke up, it was obviously charged. I took my phone out of airplane mode, and it was everywhere. Good Morning America, Fox News. I work for Spartan Race. I help run their honor series, and their headquarters is in Boston. So they asked me to come in for do a live feed interview right at their headquarters. Like, I couldn't believe what that turned into. And my response was like, guys, I was out there for 9 fucking hours. It's not like I blew this time out of the water.
Right.
Like, but I mean, what I said on Fox News, or I got interviewed on Fox and Friends, and I just wanted to make something positive out of this. And I think to myself is like, here we are. That was like the beginning of this divide that just started in our nation, and it's so political. Like, you're a Democrat, or you're an asshole. You're a Republican, or you're a shithead. Like, man, it's horrible what we're getting in now. And I took this back as like, look, man, in 2013, right where I was standing when I picked up Andy to cross that finish line, 4 years prior to when I picked her up, right at that moment, we saw a terrorist attack within our country at the Boston Marathon. And I was actually in Boston when that happened. And just like 9/11, you see the country come together. Okay, it's like when a tragedy happens, it's oh wait, we need to come together.
I know,
It
not
shouldn't
yeah,
have to be that way. It
yeah.
should not have to be that way. So I encourage, what I said, I encourage everybody out there, just get out there and let's pick up. And I'm tied my program. We need to start looking after each other, no matter what our beliefs are, no matter who we voted for, no matter what your culture is. Us as a community in this country is developed on open mind and diversity. Let's continue to carry the weight together as Americans, as people. That's what we need to do in this country.
No, I remember
And
growing
I
up.
tied it in.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead. I'll
And
say
I just
something.
said pick it up Andy and cross the finish line with her. If anything, I want to get now like these moments of viralness. Like, okay, yeah, it's cool I picked her up across over the finish line, but let's try to get a message out there for people, messages of hope. Because I think right now, and it might sound all crunchy feely and shit, we need that more than ever right now. Because I'm just sick and tired of this divide, man.
You're right, dude. I mean, I think back. So I grew up in the '70s and '80s. As a kid, and it's so different. You felt it. You felt like having that quarter that said 1776 just made you feel proud, man. We're 200 years old, and I was a little kid thinking this. And I remember my father always used to like special American holidays, always putting the flag out and making sure it was correctly laid up. So the stars and stripes on the heart side, everything. I mean, it was very important to him. And now, yeah, it was just divide over the dumbest fucking things. We all claim to be patriots and Americans, and it's like, you really? When you're making petty little things because someone's a Republican or a Democrat, you're gonna not like this person. That's not what America is about, man. It's not.
You're absolutely right.
There shouldn't be division because of pettiness. It's really sad. It really is, because you and I took an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and its people. And and when you're over there, like you said, you don't give a shit who, what color, what their orientation is, sexual orientation, anything. You got my back because I got yours. That's all you care about. You don't give about anything. What their politics are, you want to make sure this person has your back. And yeah, and then once you get here, and it's like, what were we fighting for? Because then you see the people, just how they act and feel so entitled and like get so petty over the dumbest fucking things.
Dude, it's sad, man. It really, really, it just fucking sucks.
Yep.
Like, I'm just over it, man. I don't know, man. It really does blow. But I think, just like the coronavirus, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like, 50 years ago there was a divide during the Vietnam era. And I mean, I wasn't alive through that, but I mean, if we're looking at a culture of people, our military, and just spitting on them because they were told to be drafted to go overseas, something they didn't agree with, and then they came home and they got treated by shit by everyday citizens because they were over there. I'm like, I didn't even want to go in the first place. I was told to go over. That simple-mindedness has come back. Like that was simple-minded then, and we're simple-minded now. But I believe this, like I said, this too shall pass, and we're going to get there. And, I hate even saying this, but I know people are hearing that. People are going to think in their head, oh, it's because Trump's not in office now. Or the other side is going to say, oh, it's not going to be fixed because Biden in his office now. Like, people are still going to think that. And they might not say it out loud or put it in a comment, but people are still going to think like that. And I'm like, you're the fucking problem. We need to stop looking at each other like that. I was asked to speak Luzerne County leadership, Young Leaders of America. And my contact, like who I'm working with, the logistics of what day, what time, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Everything was laid out. And then the morning of the event, I drove down there and I'm walking in with a duffel bag with the center block, and my contact, I finally meeting her in person. She's like, all right, we already got a complaint about you. And I'm like, why? Like, I didn't even speak yet. And the local DNC. Now, I'm not bashing. This is not me bashing the DNC. All right. Let me say that right now. Somebody from the local, the county chapter of the DNC says, why are you having Earl Granville speak as a Republican?
Okay.
And I was like, look, my program is completely completely non-political. If anything, it's a human aspect. And I was just like shocked. I was like, who gives a fuck? Like,
Exactly.
if you have to, right off the bat, you don't even know what I'm going to say, and you're judging me on what little letter is next to my name. How unfortunate is that? And
Yep.
and look, on the Republican side, there's people the same exact way. Oh, they're a Democrat. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Right? Like, do we really have to judge people based on their political opinion? Now, if there was a freaking political party out there that just wants to molest little kids, then we could all give them shit and fucking burn them to the ground. But until then, you have your beliefs, I have mine. We could shake hands, be cool, and have a beer together. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like the whole thing is being involved like you are. You're doing things. You're not sitting like this whole deal with GameStop because of people on social media, like this social Reddit or whatever. They weren't like physically, they just all got together as a group, which is good. But at the same time, they kind of fuck things up for the stock market. But at the same time, these guys on Wall Street do it all the time. But these guys in basements did it, with no experience. So it just goes to show you they're all full of shit in Wall Street anyways. Anyone could do their job apparently. But
maybe I shouldn't be saying this, dude, but I'm like, those people in their basement, I'm like, you know what? All the power to you guys. Just don't fucking make the stock market crash, all right? Just don't do that.
Yeah.
They learned how to do what they've been doing in Wall Street for years, all right?
But the whole thing is like what you're doing. You talk about idle minds, the devil's workshop. Yeah, it can be, but instead you're involved. And that's the thing. People need to get outside and get involved with something like Operation Enduring Warrior or that your Oscar Mike Foundation or just anything, and be around people and feel a part of something. It's so nice to be around and feel part of something and people communing, actually physical, face to face talking and inspiring people. And that's what I admire about you. You're going out and you're spreading the word and telling people, okay, I have this, but it's not me. Just because I have it, it's not who I am. And you're showing
as
that
humans
by doing things. You're showing that by taking action, running marathons, Spartan races, speaking in front of people, snowboarding, archery. You're doing things. That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
Thank you, Dave. As human beings, Dave, we're supposed to be socializing. We're supposed to be building those relationships with one another. I truly believe that's a path to happiness right there. We're not supposed to be isolated and sitting at home all the time. We're supposed to be getting to know one another and making new friends. And I look at the military community. We always focus on post-traumatic stress when it comes to mental health in the armed forces. I say that for the fact that we look at when I lost my leg, I'm not going to say the organization, but they reached out to me asking if I wanted to do some type of events with them, activities. And the activities they were pitching to me, I wasn't a fan of, right? And it's really not my thing, but maybe somebody else can benefit from it. And the lady on the other end says to me, well, we can help you with your post-traumatic stress. Are you a doctor? And what makes you think I automatically have because I lost my leg in combat? So I automatically have post-traumatic stress? And this is something with society. And there's a reason why I'm saying all this. So I feel society is doing a wonderful thing of looking after our veterans. I truly do. I mean, how many charities have been started since 9/11? They're trying not to make the mistake they did during the Vietnam era. Okay? I think it's amazing. The problem is I think they think we all have post-traumatic stress because that's like the buzz thing now, like, oh, you served in the military and you're having a bad day, it must be his post-traumatic stress. We can't be looking at people like this. We can't just assume everything is post-traumatic stress related, okay? What I'm finding in my line of work is, like, I think I talked about it before, most of us join as soon as we become an adult, so your whole adult life is combat boots and a rifle in this completely different culture from civilian life. So when you get out, I think it's that, like, what do I do with myself now?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I want us to I talked about finding those 3 Ps, like to our men and women in uniform when they get out, find those 3 Ps once again, find that new purpose, develop that new passion, and be a part of something bigger than yourself. My buddy Tom Tice, he's a civilian. I say that because he started a charity called Warrior Strong. I didn't know who he was, but he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I see you work for a lot of charities. I was thinking about starting this charity. Can I have some advice? We'll go out for lunch." I'm like, "Absolutely." So we go for lunch in Scranton, and he says, I want to help the veteran community, but I never served. And I'm like, dude, you don't need a uniform to serve your country, man. You could serve your community without going to war.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I encourage to our men and women when they get out of the military to continue. If you are lost in your life after you take that uniform off, I got my DD-214, big Sarge, big FU, that's cool, that's funny. But when you settle down for a little while and you're still not doing anything, you're not going to live a happy life. You have to get out there and try something new. Be a part of that community, because we need leaders in our community more than ever. It doesn't need some silly title. It could be shoveling your neighbor's driveway because they are too old to do it. You know what I mean? We could all use a helping hand. We could all be leaders in our community. We don't need a uniform to do it.
I agree. Totally. Well, Earl, it was a very honor, not just a pleasure. It was an honor to meet you. Like I said, I had no clue who you were, and Marvel Comics should be making a superhero character based on you, because, like I said, some heroes don't wear capes, like they say, and you're definitely that, dude. And you're very inspiring, and I'm glad I got to meet you. Like I said, when people find your story and they actually look you up, like I did, you're like, holy shit. You took life on and said, okay, the options were there. Woe is me, or I'm going to do something about it. And I'm sorry about your brother. And that was part of the inspiring reason for it. But, again, you could have looked at it like, oh man, but instead you didn't. And I think part of it's probably an honor for him. You're honoring him is, and carrying on him somewhere, mentally or spiritually with you and stuff. So that's awesome. And like I said, it's really an honor to meet you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. One last thing I want to give you real quick.
Yeah.
My teammate Norby Lara, he lost his arm in his right arm in Iraq. Vehicle was hit in an RPG. He also lost a lung. Vehicle caught on fire. He inhaled some fumes, lost a lung. He put something on his Facebook when he joined OEW. We became Facebook friends, and something that I have on a sticky pad right next to my computer. I've learned that the best way to overcome my own obstacles is to help people with theirs. I want to end with that, and I want you guys to think about that. Dave, thank you so much for your service, dude. I appreciate you having me on, man. And you need any help finding somebody else for your show, man? I know a lot of inspiring people out there. Some of my teammates that go above and beyond, man. So by all means, dude, thank you so much.
Outstanding, my friend. Take care.
We'll see you, dude.
Bye, Earl.